Hey y'all, please hit that like button as you guys come in. I'm just going to put the countdown on to give you guys some time to come in before we get into it. Okay, that's enough. Hi, everyone. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. First of all, huge apologies. I was initially meant to be live at 3 p.m. My time. I logged in, and then there were some issues that happened. So sorry about that. I had some technical issues, but thank you guys for joining this live. I know I just put it together, but thanks for joining in nonetheless. Hit that like button as you guys come in. So we have a lot to get through. So what I'm going to do to begin with, I think let's start with the Angela and Marcus situation. So give me a second. Let me share my screen. But before that, guys, hit that like button like your life depends on it, please and thank you. All right, let me share my screen. Also, guys, how is everyone doing? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Good morning, depending on where you guys are at. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, April Morgan. Hello, hope you're well. Welcome in, everyone. Please hit that like button. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, so let me share my screen and then we can get into the mess. There is actually a lot to talk about today, but I think let's start with Marcus. Okay, if you guys remember, a couple of days ago, I covered the story about Marcus and how Marcus alleged on the show that Phaedra was the one that sets the whole thing up. And if you guys remember, I said that the whole thing sounds a bit sketchy. It seems a little bit dodgy. And also, to me, Marcus doesn't exactly seem like somebody that I would trust. Especially because it's like, how do you sit there and then say something like, oh, Junebug was the one that set things up? It's very odd. And to also say that she's the godfather of Atlanta, that just made me realize, yeah, he's just out here just doing the most, has nothing to do with anything. He's just doing what he feels like he can get away with. And so for me, I've sort of questioned his loyalty and, his motives. So, anyways, he's now changing his story completely. So now he is blaming Angela. And so, first of all, shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for covering this. So let's see what Marcus is saying. So Marcus is saying, let's be honest, you blackmailed me to lie on Phaedra. Say I'm lying and I'll release the entire call. Wow. That is a serious accusation. And then he says, RHOA, the finale will be fun. Well, the finale already happened. Or when was this posted? But anyway, and then it goes on to say, and that finale clip, you were protecting me exactly like you said you would on the call. You invited me to the gala after Kelly's event, and you know why. Ooh, you don't protect a stranger unless you have something to gain from them. Oh my gosh. The plot thickens. So then he says, Angela, you don't know me from a can of paint? Why lie? You orchestrated the Phaedra lie and sent that goon to my restaurant to threaten and bully us into saying Charles was there with his daughters. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is some serious allegations. Guys, hit that like button as you guys come in. So Marcus is changing his tune completely. He's basically now saying Angela is the one that puts him up to it, and it wasn't Phaedra. It wasn't Phaedra. Who do you believe? Let me know in the chat, because it's a little suspicious. And now Marcus just provided us with some receipts. Well, I guess receipts that he was invited to the black tie event, but I don't think that's shocking to any of us because we knew that he was going to get invited to the black tie event because Angela had mentioned that. But any event, he posts this, which shows a message that he had with Drew in August. And Drew said, Angela would like me to invite you to this tonight. Hope you can make it out. And then he says, I'll be there as long as you and Angela have my back. And let me have a beverage before you all read me. Ooh. Yeah. I can't lie. That message is looking a little suspicious. It's looking a little suspicious because the fact that he's saying, like, okay, you guys let me have my beverage before you guys read me, it's giving concocted. Allegedly. That's what it at least looks like. Or at the very least, it's showing some familiarity between all of them. At least in this message, it sounds like there's some familiarity there. So, who do you guys believe? Do you guys believe Angela is behind this? Do you believe Phaedra is behind this? Do you believe that Marcus is just a random trifling person who is just trying to create drama? Do you think production is behind this? Let me know what you guys think. I would say I feel like it's given storyline. Honestly, it's given storyline. I think if you guys go back to when I talked about the whole Phaedra situation, I said I don't believe that Phaedra had anything to do with it. Not because she is an innocent person. You guys know I don't think Phaedra is innocent, and I still called her out a couple of days ago. But it's not even about that. I just think it just doesn't ring true. Imagine I was the one that told you, and then I'm asking you, so how do you know I'm involved? You're like, oh, through Junebug, and Phaedra is a godfather. Like, what are we talking about? It just sounds so inflated, over the top, and not believable. So to me, I never really believed it. And I was like, I'm not going to hold someone's feet to the fire until I see receipts. And my thing is, Marcus, if you have the full conversation that shows that Angela put you up to it, then post it. Post it. Let's all listen to the full conversation, because now let's get the receipts. Because you spoon feeding us every now and then, giving us a little bit here, a little bit there, I just don't think that's enough. Give us all the receipts. Let's see for ourselves. Let's know what is true and what is not true. So yeah, that is very, very odd to me. Okay, so is there anything else? So I guess this is his friend. Let me see. Marcus's friend says he attended the event with him where Angela was told about Charles's alleged cheating. Me being visibly gagged when Marcus dropped the tea we agreed not to share. Exactly. So it's given Marcus is out here trying to be a star, because why is he sharing the tea that you guys had agreed not to share? A little suspicious. And then if we move things forward a little bit, he said, peep the dates. Last year, after we had filmed the sit down with Angela, me and Marcus text convo. He admits here Phaedra didn't send us. Let's see. I'm trying to read, but it is quite small. So then he says, I'm here. I'm getting chance in the car. LOL. What does that mean? You know, it's a process. Be there in 8. Oh, I'm getting changed in the car is what he meant. And then $15. I'm not sure what that's about. Marcus, why did you switch up? You know, our husband was in the restaurant. And then he says she definitely wanted it to be Phaedra, so I didn't know what else to say. Oh, so it's given, instead of just telling the truth about either not being sent or whoever sent you, it's like, oh, she wanted it to be Phaedra, so he went along with it, at least according to this this text message. And then next it says, well, after the meeting, I'm convinced Angela knows about Charles. He already has a terrible image from being bad at MS Gardens and the MGM. She knows what she is dealing with and wants to pin this on Phaedra, and that's not right. Now, I can't see what was said at the bottom of that, but the whole thing is sounding a little suspicious. So let's take a little bit of a poll. Hey, let's take a bit of a poll. Who do you believe, Phaedra or Angela? Or who do you believe sent Marcus, Phaedra or Angela? Let me know in the chat. I see somebody. Let's see. I see someone says Angela. Who else? Who else? What do you guys think? Phaedra, Angela, production. Who do you think is in charge of Marcus? Okay. All right. So you think Marcus sent himself? Okay, that's interesting. So I see someone says Angela, another person says Marcus. Okay, so someone thinks Marcus sent himself. Fair enough. Another person thinks Angela. Another person thinks, let's see, what do I think? I think it's a sticky one. I think that it's not looking good in terms of, it looks like a scheme that Todd set up. It definitely is looking like a scheme that was set up, in my opinion. Do I believe that Phaedra is not involved? Yeah, I actually don't think she's involved. Unless I see concrete proof, I don't believe that Phaedra is involved. Now, am I going to go ahead and say that Angela was involved? No, because I do not want to get sued. And, you know, she has definitely posted, Marcus, see you in court, my love. So it sounds like she definitely wants to sue somebody. So I do not know who set this up, but I can smell a scheme that was set up. I will say that. Okay. Sorry, guys, it's just really hot and I have to sip every now and then because it's hot. Okay, so let's move on to, let me see. Let's move on to another story that I want to talk about. Let's talk about Kelli for a second. So let me share this tab instead so you guys can see. So Kelli is allegedly being sued for a 5-figure credit card debt. Are we surprised? You know, we talked about the fact that we think the money is a little funny. Allegedly. And so I'm not surprised. And for somebody who is always saying, oh, Brit needs to pay her bills or whatever, and making jokes about Brit's finances, is like, honey, it sounds like your finances are not all the way together either. Not the pot calling the kettle black. So shout out to Us Magazine for this. Apparently, Kelli was sued by a debt collector over an alleged 5-figure debt. The Navy Federal Credit Union filed a complaint against Kelli. The suit alleges that Kelli owes a total of 26 grand. The credit union said they demanded payment from Kelli, but she has failed, neglected, and refused to make payments upon the account. Wow. So now the suit is demanding the entire unpaid balance plus the attorney fees. So that means I assume that the unpaid balance plus the attorney fees is what comes up to $26,434.86, right? Okay. So Kelli's rep tells us Kelli has not been served with any paperwork from Navy Federal Credit Union, which is an account that was shared with her now ex-husband. Due to our ex-husband currently being in the middle of bankruptcy proceedings, we cannot comment on the matter. Okay, so it sounds like they're saying they're trying to put that a little bit on the ex-husband, like, yo, he's the one. It has something to do with him. I don't know. Because most times when you get a divorce, right, and there's like maybe accounts in your name, you guys decide, the court will decide who gets what, whose accounts needs to be, whose name needs to be removed from what account, what happens to the sum in there. So it's a little bit hard to believe that if it's not something that wasn't dealt with at the time, why is this still something that's an ongoing issue? Now let's see what the ex-husband's reps are saying. Apparently, he was removed from all joint and business accounts, including those with Navy Federal Credit Union and Trust Bank during the divorce proceedings in 2022. You see what I mean? That rings more true to me only because most times when there is a court order, for me, in my experience, has always been when there's a court order, the court, and there's all these joint accounts and whatnot, the courts may say, okay, this account will need to be closed, or, you know, see if you can remove one of the parties of the account who wants to take the account, and then whatever money that is in there would be accounted for in the combination of what the parties are dividing, right? So it's quite shocking and unusual to have an account that is still ongoing and it's still in one party's name, in both parties' names, sorry. And this is years later since the divorce. If the divorce proceedings was in 2022, she was in the courts. Okay, there are so many gaps for me. Do you guys remember that Real Housewives of Atlanta was filmed in 2024? So I'm confused because Kelli was saying she was also going through a divorce at the time. So which is true? Is it that the divorce proceedings started in 2022 but didn't finish until 2024, which happens sometimes? Or is it that the divorce proceedings were meant to, like, what happened? Because if you're saying this whole thing happened where you were removed from the joint and business accounts, I would have also expected a decree of divorce to have happened in 2022. So it's a little bit confusing to me as to what the timeline is. Somebody is lying. Somebody is lying about the date. Somebody's lying about something. I don't think everyone is being forthcoming about what the truth is. So apparently he's saying he has no knowledge of any loans or transactions initiated by Kelli after his removal from those accounts. And that is fair enough in the sense that if he's telling the truth and he's no longer on the accounts, then of course he's not going to know what happened with that. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the details. But I'm just gonna remind you guys that I'm going to add this little bit that he says, and then I'm going to remind you guys about the previous lawsuit that has happened, and then we can talk about my views about it. So he basically says the current legal dispute between Navy and Miss Kelli is strictly between those two parties. He is not named in the lawsuit and has no involvement in the matter. And that is a very, very good point. Usually, if the bank are suing, they would sue all of the parties to the account. The fact that he is not a party that is named in the lawsuit means that the account is not in his name, at least anymore. So, yeah, it's a little suspicious. Kelli, And then he says, we find it truly deeply troubling that his name continues to be invoked in matters to which he has no connection. This pattern of blame shifting 3 years post separation and divorce. That is very, very interesting. Post separation and divorce. I wish I had enough energy to go and look for the final decree of divorce to see if I could find it somewhere online. But anyway, 3 years separation and divorce appears designed to divert public scrutiny from Ms. Ferrell's financial difficulties. This person's rep is really good because that's what it actually looks like. Because if we're saying if the account is only in one party's name and it is made to seem like there is a whole thing where they're both involved when he no longer has access to the account and it's not in his name, it's definitely given you're just trying to remove the public from thinking you can't pay your bills and you're making it seem like, oh, it's associated with your divorce when that is not the case. Now, let's not forget, there was also a previous lawsuit about her chicken and waffles restaurant. So that's also something to bear in mind. So it is not, so there's clearly something that ain't right. It's given like financially, you don't have the money in what the money is saying, right? The money is not moneying, it's not adding up. That is actually what it is given, to be completely honest with you. It's given a little money is not, yeah, you don't have the money, which is okay because it's like sometimes you may not have the money, that's fine. But don't come on the show pretending to be something you are not. Don't come and give us a particular side of you that is not the truth. And then people are out here thinking like, oh no, she got it like that. And then you're talking about people that don't have money, knowing fully well you don't have money and you're living a fake life. I think that's the thing that rubs people the wrong way, or at least rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, whatever the case may be, like, there's no need for you to now be acting like this. Yeah, like this ain't it. That you have it like that when you really don't have it like that. So that's my personal issue with that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you believe the ex-husband? Do you believe her? Honestly, in this case, I'm inclined to believe that his name was removed from the account, because if his name wasn't removed from the account, why would he not also be sued as a party to it? So that's also something that makes me lean more towards his perspective just on this issue. Now, I also wanted to come to you guys with some other updates. And one of the updates would be Porsha Williams responding to what Phaedra Parks had to say when she had her interview with Jason Lee. So just to give a little bit of context for those who may have missed that particular live where I went into it, Phaedra, oh, that turned out to be a little too big. Hold on, that's what happens when you stop messing around with this thing. Sorry guys, yeah, I got distracted and then now I'm messing with the way the layout. The perfectionist in me is just like messing around with it, but yeah, I've stopped it now, sorry. So basically, right, just to give you a bit of context, it sounded like Phaedra was trying to allude to the fact that she was not responsible for the whole rumors that we heard about Candy. I'm going to play a little bit of this just to give you guys a little bit of context, and then give me some time to drink water in the background. After which, the reason I have to drink a lot of water is I got a massage and I like to drink loads of water after a massage. So yeah, just bear with me. So I'm going to play this so you guys can hear it for yourself. Let me refresh it so it starts from the start. And then let me play it for you guys.
In the show with Porsha.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is I was punished for something no one even saw me do.
Uh-huh.
It's like telephone.
Right.
Did you hear what this lady said? I was punished for something no one saw me do. So are you trying to insinuate that Porsha was lying? Or are you trying to insinuate that who was lying? These are the questions that I have. Who was lying? Was it Porsha? Are you trying to say production? Like, I'm gonna need you to clear it up. Who was lying, Phaedra? Because you're trying to then change the whole thing. 7 years, you've had 7 years to speak on it. You didn't, right? And then now you want us to believe that it was a game of telephone. Like, girl, please.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, but now you're back with Porsha.
Yeah, I'm back.
And now you're friends.
I mean, well, we really, we obviously, that bothered me. Obviously, it was.
What bothered you? Like, this is why you need to interview with people that will hold you accountable. Which parts of it bothered you? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What exactly bothered you? What bothered you? I need specifics. Was it, which part? Was it the fact that she repeated what you said and called you out and basically said, you told me? Which part bothered you? Did she lie on you? Like, these are the questions that I have, right? Because it's like, it bothered you. What do you mean by that? Why did that bother you? She is very intentional about the way she answers questions. She will divert, so she doesn't have to be honest about what exactly happened. And so that you never are able to sue her and say, well, she admitted to it. So that's what she's doing, dancing around the question yet again.
It's very, somewhat hurtful. But at the end of the day, I really love Porsha. I mean, we have always, gotten along perfectly. And so even after that moment, we didn't say, oh, I'm never speaking to you again. I mean, because at that moment, I knew I wasn't happy in the job already.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was time for me to leave this job. But unfortunately, sometimes when,
I do not for a second believe that. I feel like if she had never been exposed, she would have continued to sit there and be on the show. I don't believe she didn't want to be on the show. It's given, when someone rejects you and then you try to make it seem like I rejected them first in my mind. It's just they were the first ones to say it. That's what it's given. You probably overemphasized or overinflated your sense of importance. You really thought like, oh my God, this, they would never like let me go. But then they did. So it's definitely something that could be learned from that.
If you can't make a decision for yourself, God will make a decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
Leave God out of your mess. Please leave God out of this mess.
But now you're back in the show with Porsha.
Exactly. So that's the bit I personally.
Decision for yourself. God will make a decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so the decision was made. And, I have never had a better 7 years in my life.
Okay. So why are you back? If you've never had a better 7 years of your life, why are you back now? Like, why not stay and continue to have the best years of your life? Why come back to the show? Don't get it.
You were gone 7 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
wait, Phaedra, you took the hit. You took the hit for a
why is Jason Lee gassing her up? Talking about you took the hit. Took the hit for what? For which part? Are we all right? Is everything all right in the hood? Is everything going okay? Because why would you say you took like, that's crazy.
America.
And she's laughing. You took the hit for America. What? Nah, Delulu.
For what? I was so mad at you for sitting there and letting the charades happen in front of all of us.
Girl, I do not know what you told Jason in the background or what Jason knows about it, but it's given they must know something that we don't know, because I don't understand why you guys are having a conversation and talking about like, oh, you took the hit for America. Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the behavior that we saw on the reunion? That was her opportunity to speak up. If she was being falsely accused, she could have said something. She didn't. She owned it. So it's all a bit confusing. It's giving like someone is trying to rewrite history. It's giving a little bit of like Martha Holt behavior. For those of you who may not know, Martha Holt is someone from Love and Marriage Huntsville TV show. So yeah, it's given you're trying to rewrite history, because I don't understand how you can stay there with a straight face and then be like, laugh about you taking the hit for America. You okay? And this makes you even more unlikable.
They didn't show what was really said.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So tell us, if they did, this is my thing, right? If they didn't show what was really said, then tell us what was really said, right? The show has happened. It was 7 years ago. Now is the time you can clear it up. Even in the first episode where they invited you and stuff, where you and Porsha were kicking and whatnot, that could have been a perfect opportunity. The perfect opportunity for you to tell us. Bring it up. Have the conversation with Porsha. Instead, nah, you guys didn't have the conversation. You just kikied, laughed, and that was it. So, and danced around the subject.
I mean, because that's the contract. You know, and sometimes you just got to realize, okay.
I'm going to just stay with.
So that's the contract. What do you mean that's the contract? Okay, I'm supporting Bravo children, so that's fine to like it, but I don't like this nonsense. That's the contract. So now, are you trying to indirectly pull production into it and say, oh, production is also part of it? Now, this may be the case, right? But then say that. And if you don't want to say that, if you're not going to give us anything new, but making it sound like you're lying and not telling us any additional information, then you could have kept it. This was an interview you didn't have to do, or if you wanted to do, you didn't have to talk about this particular issue. Yet you did.
Within the four corners.
Yeah, I mean, because I know better and I'm trained, and so I'm held to a higher standard than some of my colleagues.
No, I do agree with her on that. Like when you're a lawyer or when you have certain professions, people tend to hold you to a higher standard. Even the regulatory bodies tend to hold you to a higher standard than other people. So just FYI on that.
Because they know I know better. And so sometimes when you're a little smarter than the average bear, it doesn't always help you.
Okay.
Decision for yourself. God will make a decision for you.
Okay. Enough of this nonsense. I don't even want to listen to that anymore. But let's read what Porsha had to say in response to this. Porsha checks her. Porsha said, you already apologized at the reunion and apologized after for telling me the lie. Furthermore, I have already taken accountability with Kandi for repeating what you claimed she said. Ooh, ain't that a word? Let's move forward by truly learning from past mistakes. And she left a heart emoji to soften the blow. I couldn't agree more. It's like, you already apologized. So what are we doing? Why are we backpedaling? Why are we like making things even worse? Because now people feel like you still haven't learned your lesson, right? People feel like you still haven't learned your lesson. You don't know how to take accountability. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. And so it's even more clearer because she's saying, I've taken accountability with Kandi for repeating what you claimed she said. That's worse. Because it's like, that's even like you claiming that you heard it from the horse's mouth when you didn't. It's crazy business. So that's just something. It's really, really sad that she still can't take accountability. It's been 7 years ago. Just take accountability and move on. You could have even skated around it and just said, like, you know, this was 7 years ago. We've all matured since then, and absolutely will do things differently. But yeah, and move on. Change the subject. She could have done that, but she didn't. And that's the thing. It's like now it seems like I'm sure Porsha is irritated because it's like, girl, why are you now trying to throw me under the bus years later? But I'm meant to just be like, all right, it's cool. No, it's not okay. So yeah, that's just ridiculous. I think it's just another sign of Phaedra, not being able to take accountability for her own ish. And the problem is nobody's going to move on if you can't take accountability for your own ish. It doesn't go down well with anybody. Nobody likes people they can't, because everyone can relate to making mistakes. It happens. Things happen in life. Things happen. It's not the end of the world. It happens. So, but when it happens, what do you do next? You take accountability and you move on. But it's like it's been 7 years. And in all the 7 years, you still have not learned how to take accountability. That's what's a problem for a lot of people. All right, enough about Phaedra and Porsha. We're still going to talk about Porsha, but let's move on to talk about what Carlos King said in his interview with the Breakfast Club. He did mention Porsha, so I'm going to share my screen in a second. I'm going to share this tab. Okay. And we're going to play, first of all, it's fair use policy, fair use commentary. So I'm going to have to keep pausing because I don't want no drama. And I don't want any copyright issues. All right, let's get into it. Also, shout out to the Neighborhood Talk because that's where I got this from.
It's an unfortunate fact that when it comes to Black women in any industry, Black women lead the charge. They're the curators, they're the tastemakers.
I agree because it's interesting because like a lot of things that, we used to do back in the day and a lot of people are like, oh no, that is so ghetto. All of a sudden you see it on like certain white folks and then it becomes a thing that is now a thing, right? Like you see, like we used to do cornrows back in the day. We still do cornrows, but I mean like cornrows was a thing for us, right? And then all of a sudden Kim Kardashian does cornrows and everyone's like, oh my God, that is so cool. Just things like that. So I agree with him on that particular point.
But unfortunately, advertisers feel like if they're not white, would the consumer buy into that? And I think they will. And
they will. We're very interesting people. So I do, there may be concerns by these executives as to whether or not, yes, will we have the numbers. But yeah, like our people do show up and show out. So I think that they're probably also realizing now that, yes, we do have the numbers and yes, we do have people. So yeah, but anyway.
That's why we look at Porsha Williams.
Porsha, capital P.
The cover of People magazine.
Big deal.
Bernadine Peters.
Right.
Angela Bassett. Like you look at Porsha and listen, I'm going to say this because I believe in it. I think Porsha Williams is currently the Black Kim Kardashian of our time. And I think...
Okay, so I know he means well. I would say this. I know he means well, but I don't really like the idea that this Black successful woman is being compared to Kim Kardashian. Personally, I don't really think that. I would never really think, oh, Porsha versus Kim or Porsha is the Black Kim. Like, nah, it wouldn't even cross my mind at all. So I know he's trying to give her her flowers, but considering you're saying that, we're the tastemakers, yet, white people tend to get the credit for it and stuff like that, to then proceed to then be like, oh, she's the Black Kim Kardashian. I don't really think that lands well for me as a person, but it may just be me. But I just don't think that. I think she is Porsha, the Black Porsha, honey. She is Porsha Williams. That is it. That is all. But I can appreciate that, he means well. It's just not something that, I wouldn't appreciate if someone decided to call me the Black whatever. I don't know. Black version of rotten mango or something. Just what are we doing? No, thank you.
we need to look at her as somebody who is going to make so many strides in this business. And I believe strongly her People magazine cover illustrated that fact. And when I saw...
Okay, so I do agree with him that Porsha has the ability to make giant strides in the industry. She is pretty, she has a nice body, she plays, she's very funny, she plays into the dumb, blonde act quite a bit. So people love a good damsel, and she knows how to play that damsel card very well. So yes, I do think, and you can tell she's naturally very funny, naturally entertaining. So yes, I do think she has the ability and capacity to succeed and do quite a lot more. She can act as well, so she can actually do a lot of these different things. I just think that I get it. I agree with it, but I just think like the whole comparing her to Kim Kardashian was just unnecessary.
All that, I was like, where's her deals now? She has... It's an unfortunate fact. She has Porsha, she got a lot, but
yeah, I get it. She could be doing a whole lot more. I agree. She could be doing a whole lot more. And I think sometimes it's seasonal, right? Like sometimes it's in your season, you get a lot of stuff done, you're busy. And sometimes it's a season for rest, it's a season to figure out what's next, right? So I think being married for her, taking that step back, was a season of like rest. And now it's like she's back in grind season. So if she can show up well on some of these other shows, like if she shows up well on Traitors, then that might be her season to shine, really, to be completely honest. So I really do hope she does well on Traitors as well, so that like that also puts her name on people's mouths a little bit, and also people can go back to falling in love with the lighthearted, funny girl that a lot of people fell in love with, and when she first started on Real Housewives of Atlanta, because I think this last season was the worst season that she's ever had. I know they said the reunion she redeemed herself, and I'm waiting. I can't wait to watch that. But I think aside that, I feel like there's just I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm like, that to me,
gold naked hair.
That to me really showcased like this one.
Also, Charlamagne likes Porsha, because how many times do you see Charlamagne actually like talk about people's business? He is out here plugging Go Naked Hair, pampered by Porsha sheets. And that's also what happens when you go and visit someone and you bring gifts. People love a good gift. She went over there and got them some gifts. So he's probably out here like sleeping on pampered by Porsha sheets. So yeah, he's like, yeah, let's plug her because those sheets are good. So it's like when you have the opportunity to plug your business, absolutely do it. When you have the opportunity to go in interviews, take gifts. Take your stuff, plug your stuff. And that's the thing I felt like Martell Holt was not doing. His INS wine or whatever it's called was always not unavailable, never brought it where he needed to bring it to, just has no business sense, not business savvy at all.
Mom is about to set things on fire like she did that car.
You said it was iconic.
Well, like I think Porsha is so iconic, and I just love her so much. She has Porsha, she got a lot.
Yeah, agreed.
But Porsha.
Agreed. Let's see what the comments are saying, though. I just know he think he's the black Andy Cohen. Okay. I think Porsha is Porsha, and we love Porsha. Absolutely. If I had to name a black Kim Kardashian, I would never think of Porsha. Absolutely. And why is the Kim the standard? Exactly. This is the thing that I really wanted to articulate, and I don't think I did. But yes, why is Kim the standard? Why can't she just be Porsha Williams by herself? Why she got to be Kim Kardashian's black version? Like craziness. I would love to see her get some products like Kim does. She needs a store. We love her outfits. You really think she thinks of these ideas? People approach you and make you the face of the company when you're as big as she is. I'm still trying to understand how Kim is the standard when she's the one cosplaying. Period. Had passed. Porsha is not even in a leaks for a generation. Ooh, who said that? Who said that? Yeah, we should have to always compare ourselves to white people. We shouldn't, is probably what this person is trying to say. We shouldn't have to always compare ourselves to white people to validate our success. Porsha Williams is the black Porsha Williams. Oh, I'm not reading that one, but you guys can read it in your own time. Carlos just be saying anything. Porsha is Porsha Williams, point blank, period. He lost me there. Yeah, exactly that. So I'm going to stop there on that particular one. So let's move on to the next story. Let's see. Let's talk about Drew and Ty and Ming, because it sounds like Ming is never gonna let it go. It's like, honey, are you in love with Ty? Like, is that what it is? Like, Ty really must be putting it down because the amount of people that love them some Ty, like, what is going on? Okay, Ty. Anyways, I'm gonna share this tab instead, and then we're gonna get into it. Shout out to Reality TV, Entertainment TV.
Basketball Wives.
Yeah, so Candy, sounds like Candy interviewed Ming.
Housewives crossover. Did we?
Is Ming that tall, or is Candy just very short?
We did.
Did we?
And I'm not, I don't want to get myself into trouble over here.
Yes, you do.
Girl, Ming is right. Yes, you do. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have invited her. So you knew exactly what you were doing when you invited her over there. And this is the thing. It's like, don't be out here, hiding your hand after you've played your card. Like, we see you. And that's okay. Get your money. That's what you're on. But don't now be out here being like, oh, I'm not trying to. Girl, please.
Yes, she does.
Shout out to
she
Drew.
wants to be in trouble.
Yep, she does want to be in trouble. Thank you, Ming, for saying the obvious. Because, girl, if you do not want to be in trouble, you will not be out here trying to speak to her directly. Bring her on the show. Have us, you would not be, especially because you're not even on the show. So what's the point?
She was just here actually at Candy Factory rehearsing her concert. She has concerts coming. Y'all buy a ticket to her show. But my girl Drew, well, Drew and I, we done had a rocky road, I guess, over the last couple of years, but we're in a good space right now. I'm not saying that you said anything. Well, I don't know really what all you said.
I ain't said nothing. She has so much to say on her interviews about me.
I don't remember her having much to say about you. Like, and this is the thing about people's perspective, which is always very interesting to me. Like, two people can listen to the same thing and two people will get two different things from it. Because I certainly did not get the impression that Miss Drew was talking about you. Did not get the impression about that at all. At all. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I did not get that impression about it at all.
I've said nothing but the truth.
Which is?
Not which is. Girl, you are messy boots, Candy.
We broke up because y'all couldn't stop communicating. And that's
because we had a little. Because Ty and Drew didn't stop communicating. Well, I mean, I guess it's.
Look at her smiling. Candy is definitely loving the tea. She's like, ooh, the tea, And I'm just like, girl, please. Candy looks good, though.
Really no secret now, because then after that, Ralph started posting text messages. So.
I was like, I let you slide with the Carlos King interview. So I was like, okay. You know what I mean? But then you went on all these other interviews talking about some, it's no proof, it's no this, it's no that. I'm like, girl, you know I'm the queen of receipts.
Oh my gosh. Drew, girl, please don't talk about it no more, because sounds like Ming is going to bring some more receipts out if you don't stop talking about it, because I don't understand why she seems kind of irritated by Drew versus Ty. I would think Ty should be getting all the smoke, not Drew, because Drew is not your man. Drew was not your girl. That was Ty. So the person you need to focus on is Ty and not Drew. That's what I would say. I always find it weird when people are so obsessed or like they have such laser focus on like a particular person. And it's like this person that you have such laser focus towards, it's not even the person that you really should be focusing on. It's not like Drew was your friend. If Drew was your friend, I'll understand it. You're a little bit like, girl, how are you my friend and you're out here talking to my person? But that's not the case at all. So it's very, very odd to me that she's so fixated on Drew.
I think people know you the queen of receipts.
Oh, I'm the queen of receipts, but you know what? It's Pride Month. I'm not gonna out nobody during Pride Month. So I was just like, but then,
I'm not gonna out nobody.
I'm not, but her husband, he had no problem.
Okay. What does Ming think of the text messages that surfaced between her ex and Drew? Well, you kind of touched on it.
They're not. That's
because Ty and Drew didn't stop communicating. Well, I mean, I guess it's really
not made up. It's not AI.
Oh, did somebody say they were AI?
No, I'm just saying, like, they're not fake.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, I would have to do like a whole sit down to.
Girl, what? You want to do a whole sit down about a relationship that you weren't involved in? Like, girl, please let it go. Is Ty really that like sweet or what? Because I don't understand. Like, let it go, baby.
I know how you feel. This episode, we only got 14 minutes left.
Because it's like a very layered and it's like a whole lot more context that needs to be given.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think, like, I hope Drew lives in her truth, and I wish her nothing but the best.
You wish her nothing but the best, but you keep bringing it up. Like, we're tired. Let's see what Tai Young has to say. Text messages from 2023 that he had. It's 2025. Wrap all this ish up. Everybody doing them, and everybody wants views. Louder. Say it louder. That is what it sounds like, because it's like, girl, you're so fixated on Drew. Drew is not even bothered about you. Whatever the case may be, Ralph knows what it is. Drew knows what it is. We all know what it is. You know what it is. Ty knows what it is. And we don't care. Like, we're over it now. So it's done. Let me look through my list. I think there's probably one more thing that I wanted to go with you guys. Show you guys. Oh, sorry, this page isn't available. Interesting. I know, let me see if I can find another place that had the information up. Okay, let's get into it. So it starts off here, and then we'll continue going into it, right? So Jessie Will says, I don't understand why Brit felt the need to bring up Shamea's daughter, so insinuating that Shamea was lying about her daughter's illness. Shamea has amazing self-control because baby. Right? Okay. And then Brit says, Shamea doesn't get to call me a whore all season long, implying that I'm an addict, bully me in every media outlet, come for my marriage, and try to get the public to hate me because she's a liar. What no one sees is Shamea uses the storyline to gain sympathy from the fans when she weaponizes her child's condition and knows no one can say anything. But no one talks about the made-up stories that she puts out in the media, dragging my name every chance she gets. F her. Okay? And then, scroll back up to here. Somebody says, no, Brit, when you become a mom, you will feel differently about this. I promise you will. When you come on the show, all the girls go low, but they never attack each other's children. And then Brit says, when you attack my marriage, pay people to put out gay rumors and attack my reputation, call me a fraud, and tell the world I should be fired from my job, she can suck it. I attacked her parenting. Simple as that. Now, here's the thing. Oh, okay. I think there's even more. Okay, so let me read this first and then I'll say what I want to say. No, Brit, you were wrong for bringing up a child, period. No one is saying Shamea is perfect, but you do not bring up people's children. Also, I never spoke ill on any housewives in the media and took the high road. That came for me in every media outlet and I still didn't speak on her. Okay? Right. So here's the thing. People may not like this, but I don't think she said anything directly about the child. I think what she said was about the parenting. Now, I personally, as a person, would not go after someone's parenting, or that's not my style to go after people's parenting, because I think parenting is hard enough as it is. But imagine someone is attacking your marriage, attacking da-da-da. I'm not surprised that she felt like she had to retaliate and attack her parenting. Right? Like, attacking someone's parenting is different from saying that they said disparaging things about their child. These are two different things. And I know Shamea went on like her media tour talking about, she said disgusting things about her child, da da da. And it's like, we listen to it and it's like, what disgusting things about the child? What she said was disgusting things about you, horrible things about your parenting, which is horrible for any parent. That's what she said about you. It wasn't anything about your child. It was your parenting of your child. Does that make it right? No. But I'm just saying, like, let's put some context in it. Because I feel like a lot of people, like when Shamea was going on her tour, and I remember I said it then, I said, I've noticed that a lot of parents do this. When you talk about their parenting, they then say stuff like, oh, she was talking horrible about my child. And it's like they do that because they get to gather sympathy from people, because they know nobody would like or appreciate somebody speaking on their child, right? But the truth is, speaking on your child and speaking about your parenting are two different things. If she said your child is a da 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 da, now that is speaking on your child. It says the way you parent your child is horrible. You don't speak to your child when you should be. That's not about the child. That's not talking about the child. That's talking about your parenting of the child. Two completely different things. And I think people, it's more from an emotional perspective where people feel like it's all one and the same. It's not one and the same. It's not one and the same. These are two completely different things. She did not say disparaging things about your child. She said things about your parenting of the said child. Completely different things. Now, I feel like they both have their faults in the situation. I feel like Shamea, you can't call someone a whore and call somebody a pill popper and expect them not to say anything. They will speak up. And so whatever they feel like they can use to get to you is what they will use to get to you. I'm sure the reason you guys were using the whore to get to her was because you guys assumed that you saw a pee in her mouth. So of course you feel okay in basically out here saying that she's a whore, right? And so now she's basically like, okay, let me use the one thing that I know that will get you, and that's your parenting, right? So I guess it's not right, but all is fair in the game of war. What do they say? How do they say it? But yeah, so very, very weird. So I don't know if you guys saw this where Kenya said she feels like Peter is more interesting than Cynthia. I'm like, okay, and why do you feel like you need to talk about it? That's your friend, or that was your ex-friend or whatever. But that's the thing I feel like with Kenya. Kenya comes across very vindictive. If you don't like something that someone did or whatever, that doesn't mean that now you need to be out here comparing. It doesn't make any sense. So whatever. And whether or not I agree, it's just like that's not something that a friend does, right? And so for me, it's like the audacity to be out here talking about like, oh, Peter was more interesting, da 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 da, whatever. You're not on the show anymore. You are not on the show anymore. So what is it? Just looking at some of the comments, I'm getting tired, so I need to go soon. But I'll round up with this comments, a few of the comments, and then I will go and do some other things. Okay, Ken, this is getting desperate. The woman was a good friend to you when no one messed with you. She doesn't even have anything better to do with her time. It's sad at this point. Yes, but at the same time, you have to understand that's how she's going to get clicks and views and stuff. So she is also rage baiting people, I think, at this point. Someone said, ladies and gentlemen, the real Kenya Moore. I wish I could get those clapping sounds right now and just be like, yep. Absolutely. Someone said Cynthia is hands down the smartest, most strategic housewife to exist on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She knew how to leverage her friendships and relationships for longevity and launched about 100 businesses in the process. Okay. Interesting. So I say it then and I'll say it now. This woman was never a friend to Cynthia. She only became a friend to drive a wedge between Cynthia and Nene. She needs to put her resume out there and focus on finding a job. Ooh, okay. Someone says Cynthia is one of the most genuine housewives across all franchises. This wasn't cool. I agree. I'm so glad this lady is off my TV screen. Absolutely. She is not that woman's friend at all. Never have been. She only befriended her to get to Nene. Kenya is nobody's friend. Agreed. I agree with all of that. To be honest, I think I would never use friend to describe Kenya. I don't think I ever have. She doesn't come across as somebody who can be friends with anybody, genuinely. On that note, thank you for joining me. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you're in the replay gang, please make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And I'll speak to you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.